preparation, and many things failed on that day. But if you have 92%, if you go with decision room numbers, or 99.75% if you go with INEC numbers, though I would prefer, of course, to go with the institutional numbers, 92% isn't failure by any standard for a first election. What I think we should also look at is what happens on Saturday. If on Saturday the failure rate is anything below 92%, then we have a problem. If the numbers go up to, success rate of about 96, 97%, then indeed INEC learned from the mistake of the last period. But I've heard people say that technology failed. Technology did not fail us. The logistics of getting to use the technology tools itself was what failed.
All right, so you're given a margin of error of, say, plus or minus what, 8 or 6?
8% failure for a technology tool that is being deployed for the first time isn't woeful. Let me just put it that way. I mean, of course, for the 8% of the people who didn't get access when they needed it, for example, the outgoing president, for them, at the moment when they were experiencing that failure, they were not going to be thinking 8% or 0.25%. They were thinking 100% for themselves. The machines had failed.
All right, let me get back to Mr. Kalajaye about this failure or success of the card readers. Now, we've just seen here INEC relaxing the guidelines when they spoke about what they did on the 28th of March at the time, but about the areas where card reader failed. And then the directive came much later in the day, though, that they could resort to manual accreditation. Now, if we say the failure rate was 92, beg your pardon, maybe less than 0.2%, there are those who say, well, for those areas that they were able to verify. But you have people who deliberately just said, well, since they say resort to manual accreditation, the card reader has failed, they resorted to manual accreditation. So can we really then say that it was actually less than 2%?
I'd say, like the last speaker said, it's not technology that failed us. The process, the human contributions failed us. INEC must go ahead and train their staff more better than what it did the last time. It's about those who come to operate the system. That's one. Two, when directive came that yes, so you can resort to use of incident forms, some abused it. Some politicians took advantage of that. And so, for instance, they said you can resort to incident forms. Were those incident forms provided? Were they readily available? Were they not being photocopied for those people on the field by politicians or by residents, by voters? Those are, indices of, improper preparations. So we must improve on our preparations. We must improve on our training. We must also improve on the way instructions are dished out and then how they are carried out.
Mr. Mulu.
Yeah, I think I would want to align with the last speaker and him too. Sincerely speaking, I believe the card reader wasn't really the fault. And we shouldn't really look at this card reader if we want to move forward as a country. Yes, we need a card reader. The card reader did its function. Of course, there might be a minimum failure rate as being recorded. But the major issue, like he asked, is what do we intend to achieve with this card reader? Were we able to achieve that, which is a collective, a collective process?
Do you think we achieved it?
That's what I'm telling you. Obviously, we did not. Obviously, we did not. One, yes, accreditation went on. People got accredited, and but after that, did INEC put up anything to check rigging? Was the card reader supposed to address rigging? That is the issue. Because at the heart of INEC and this digital thing, I think the whole idea is to minimize electoral fraud and malpractices and rigging, most especially.
Okay.
But he didn't address that. He didn't. Because people devised other means. Even after
other means such as?
Like I just told you, people not coming with the result sheet.
Okay.
to enter the results.
We'll take a look at that also, including the press statement by the commission in just a moment. But let's get over to our correspondent, Yamiko Soko. We spoke to him earlier in the day. He filed in this report from Jos.
Thank you. The All Progressives Congress Party in Plateau State has expressed its dissatisfaction with the just concluded National Assembly elections, particularly with the outcome of Plateau North senatorial seat, which Governor Jonah Jang of PDP was declared the winner. As the gubernatorial and state assembly elections draw near, the PDP in Plateau believes that it will consolidate on the achievement in which the party won the 3 senatorial seats as well as 6 out of the federal constituency seats in the state. In the meantime, the controversy on the card reader is still ongoing, as Governor Jonah Jang in a state broadcast appealed to INEC to allow those that have their names on the voters register to be allowed to vote during the forthcoming gubernatorial and state house of assembly elections. However, the INEC office in Plateau says it has not received such appeal or request, as it is the headquarters that can give directives on such issues, as well as the collection of remaining permanent voter cards, which are still with the electoral body. Well, with this controversy still ranging on, the PDP wants the card reader issue to be modified, while APC in the state, according to the gubernatorial candidate of APC, Simon Lalong, the card reader is still one of the best options which will make the election to be credible and, of course, to be free and fair. Back to you in Lagos.
Well, Yamiko Soko filing his report in earlier in the day. We'll take a break now, but we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.